Okay, hello everybody, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today to talk about digital health with everybody. So it seems to me that digital health is everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. We hear a lot about it, but we're not seeing it actually implemented in practice as much as we should be. And while it has a tremendous promise to improve accessibility and personalization of care, the Achilles heel of digital health is patient engagement and maintaining engagement over a long period of time. And for us to achieve that, we need to start looking at how to create really precise, meaningful experiences for people so that they are seeing returning value over time. So over the course of my 10-minute presentation today, I hope to share with you some of my experiences in creating these tools and perspectives when it comes to women's health, identifying some challenges as well as opportunities. So let's look at some of the facts. I think we know that health-seeking behaviors are influenced by patient characteristics. Some of the key ones are socioeconomic background and status, age, and of course, gender. And we see this time and time again, both in practice and in literature. We know that on average, women tend to seek healthcare information and support more than men. This paper drives home that point. This is by Thompson and BMC, where she surveyed 7,000 people across Canada to understand, would you seek primary care services if you need it for physical or mental health ailment? And what we saw was that women overwhelmingly said, yes, I would seek these services. So what's the problem here? Women tend to seek these services, but they don't remain engaged or receive the support they need to ultimately improve their outcomes. Now, you would think when we're designing these digital health interventions, we take this behavior into consideration. We know this behavior of women, but we don't. And this is unfortunate. So while the industry is making this amazing movement towards patient-centered design where we involve people right from the beginning of the conceptualization, we fail to focus on the nuances of gender. You'll see here the definition of user-centered design. It's finding a representative sample so that you can generalize the effectiveness of your digital intervention. We need to do the exact opposite in this case. We need to create precise engagements so that we're leveraging some of these behavior-seeking personality traits we have as women. So I'd like to show you an example of one project that shows you how we behave both as females and males. So this is a project we did with the Heart and Stroke Foundation a few years ago, trying to revolutionize the heart risk assessment. So what you could do is download this mobile application, complete a risk assessment for heart attack or stroke, and receive a personalized assessment that triggered these daily tips. And the objective was that over the course of 30 days, you'd complete one challenge every day. So we launched this on the iTunes store for free, and after 5 months, we saw 70,000 people download this across Canada. That's incredible. And I had the pleasure of looking at some of the statistics. So what we saw, and this is not surprising, was that over 70% of the people who downloaded this app were female, but they stopped using it after 2 weeks. Also, we triggered some incentives in the mobile application to hopefully increase uptake. And the Heart and Stroke Foundation chose Air Miles. And what we saw with Air Miles, that it actually influenced uptake among men, but not women. So you're seeing some interesting points here. Firstly, this generalized approach once again created the same patterns that we're seeing in health-seeking behaviors, but we weren't able to further push women to uptake this tool because we never considered some of the conflicting priorities they may have in their day, the way they would approach these challenges when we designed for them. So this was a misstep on our part. Now, I'm working on another project looking at individuals managing type 1 diabetes. And so I had a focus group about 2 weeks ago, and these were the participants there. And we were floating some ideas by them to understand how we could bring value to their day-to-day management of this condition, which is very burdensome. So we had, my designers put together this beautiful concept of the Rant Line. So if we gave you a phone line that you could call and for 5 minutes just rant, today my insulin bolus tube got stuck and I was so frustrated and embarrassed, the end. Would you use that? Would it help you with your mental health? And the body language in the room of the females was, yeah, I want this. Can you build this right now? I just want to talk about it. I don't want to be judged. That's it. The men didn't want that. The men didn't even respond at all, their body language or verbally, to this idea. And then when we all consulted afterwards about our strategy to move forward, the consensus at the time was, well, this is not a generalized approach, so we shouldn't do this. That's wrong, right? There is a population who would benefit from this, so we should zone in for those people on this approach. So we really need to rethink the way we're designing these tools. You know, it's become very apparent to me in speaking to my colleagues that women's health and the way we manage our health is driven by societal factors, by context, by competing priorities. Women tend to be overwhelmingly the caretaker for families when somebody is ill, caretakers of their elderly patients, but we're not changing the circumstances within which they're thriving or enabling their support. But it's not all bad news. This is an example that actually brought me joy from a class I teach. Let me see if I can get this to work. There you go. So this group was looking at perinatal depression amongst women who are of South Asian descent. And their objective over my course was to interview these women and really understand how to help them. And the tool they created is called Sahaylee, which means friend. And it builds on the social, cultural fabric of this South Asian community, connecting generations on generations of women to share advice, powered by something like the Toronto Public Health Services. And what you're seeing here is a concept that really resonated with the women. They wanted to talk to other people and learn from them within their community. And these type of examples, I believe, are the way we need to start designing technologies and implementing them for improving experiences for women dealing with health issues. So overall, my message here today, I hope was well received, is that we are moving in the right direction. But for us to actually create exceptional health experiences for women, we need to start really understanding their context, situation, and unique characteristics. Thank you so much.